It's sometimes better to be at the back of the stadium watching them rather than be seated. And I just tell them two things. Doing sports builds character. And I always wanted them to lose because defeat makes you a better person. So, in early life, if you understand and if you make them understand that, defeat is important, sometimes your parents might not be there, they would become much more stronger individuals. So, they have grown up now. My elder daughter is in University of Manchester. She plays water polo for the university now. My younger daughter is 16 years, doing the O-levels. So they understand where I come from. And they know the blessings are always there. I always tell them, just go there and do your best.
Being the Marxist you are then. So you are always this national-minded. Family versus country, you always go for the country and not the family. Is that your call?
No, it's experiences in my life. I can give you one major experience. I wanted to represent Sri Lanka in boxing. In 1978, as a schoolboy, at the semi-finals of the trial for the Asian Games, in the semi-finals I was knocked down by a boxer called H.C. Caldera, who subsequently went on to win the last bronze medal at the Asian Games. I have never forgotten that, and I always think that if not for my studies, that I could have boxed for Sri Lanka. The next thing that you can, enjoy is when you carry the flag of your country's flag at a major event. At the Olympics, Susantika Jayasinghe carried the flag, and as the chef de mission, I walked behind her. At the Commonwealth Championships in Scotland, being the tradition, I carried the flag with Anuruddha Ratnayaka and Manju Wanniyarachchi. And just before we hit the arena, there was a boxer from Swaziland and the manager of Swaziland, and he was carrying the flag. The manager of Swaziland was carrying the flag just in front of us before Sri Lanka. Just before we hit the final stretch of the arena, he gave the flag to his boxer and said, he will carry the flag because he is fighting for my country. I was embarrassed. And I gave that flag to Manju Wanniyarachchi because I realized country comes first before personal glory. There were humble lessons that I learned in sports, that your country comes first before you and your family and anything else. And I believed in that.
You recruit people who are better than you. Dian Gomes is known to have been the only president in the National Boxing Association of Sri Lanka who dons up a tracksuit and gets into the ring to support his proteges. We'll talk to Dian about this. Dian, you have a lot of proteges, about 50 people that you sponsor and you patronize. In boxing, what do you do? What's your contribution to the country?
Actually, we have got the national team with us at Slimline, and I still support people who are not even from Slimline, from the Sri Lankan Army, from Vidyartha Pirivena, from Sivali School. The whole idea is to take somebody for the next Olympics. So if you are looking at Olympic dream, it's like a 10-year dream. So what we really do is pick young talent and give them employment or support their education and expose them internationally. We've got a Cuban coach, and we have people like Anuruddha Ratnayaka, who's gone for the Olympics, a lot of experience, and take the young talent to the next level of boxing.
It's become increasingly important for successful corporations today to have a CSR scheme, a corporate social responsibility scheme. Is this your CSR scheme for Slimline? And one more question: how the mileage you get from the CSR scheme? How does it reflect on the performance of your business?
Actually, all these people who are practicing here, the world champions, Anuruddha Ratnayaka, they're all heroes. We have 100 people in 21 sports representing Sri Lanka from MS Holdings. We don't take sports as a CSR. Actually, most of the funding, I would say, sometimes even come from our competition. It's actually the people who fund it, and we give them the gloves, we give them, support them through the education. But our CSR, we have some programs like Women Go Beyond. So these people have won those awards, but I wouldn't take sports as a CSR. But sports is a great unifier of people, because the only time in history, in Sri Lankan history, Sri Lanka has come together as a nation when it gets involved in sports. When Susantika Jayasinghe ran the 200 meters, when Sri Lanka played the World Cup in 1996, whole of Sri Lanka came together. So I believe, when you bring sportsmen into the organizations, it brings a company together. For an example, at the last Russia versus Sri Lanka duel, the stadium was filled with 7,000 people, and 5,000 came from rural factories from Pandal and Koggala. So, and people ask me, what has women got to do with boxing? They want heroes. They want people to look up to. So, these kind of young girls from the village who has done exceptionally well. I have Damayanti Darsha with me. I have Ruwani Abemana with me. I have part of the Sri Lankan cricket team. Dilara Fernando, Dilshan, they are part of the team. So we believe when they play, we all go there. And especially something like boxing, 7,000 people were at the stadium. And today is the Leighton Cup. There will be 2,000-3,000 people from our factories supporting their teams. And it's amazing. It has nothing to do with the boxing. It has nothing to do with the people. It's basically the mindset. The mindset that we have created in our organizations, that we have got what it takes to win.
You said when you recruit people, you recruit people who are better than you. Has it ever occurred to you, haven't you ever got threatened?
I don't think. Maybe in my early years, when you were just climbing up the ladder, when I didn't understand the philosophy of life, when I didn't have the much experience as a person, maybe I would have been threatened. But I wouldn't say the last 15 years, it has never been. I've enjoyed people. See, I still come from a background. When I see my teachers at Royal College, I stand to attention. When I see my bosses at Fort Roads, like Mr. Sivaratnam, I have tremendous respect. And then I sit with some young Harvard graduate who's 25 years, who tells Dian, this is absurd, this doesn't work. You can talk about strategy, but this in practice wouldn't work. And they challenge me. So I come from a very traditional background, with a hierarchical background. And then you recruit the smartest guys down, and they tell you, look, this is not going to work. And if I don't have brilliant people, whether it's boxing, whether it's work, whether it's any other thing I do, I got a dog's chance to compete globally. Because you are competing with the best in the world from Israel, best in the world from China, best in the world from India, and these guys are aggressive. So you need to have your team, better than you, better than the best in the world. So pick the best talent, nurture them, motivate them, then, you just win.
What would be your biggest strength?
I think the sincerity. The sincerity, and if you don't trust the leadership, people wouldn't go anywhere. People must trust the leadership, and you must walk the talk. Everything that you do in a 5,000 people environment, it might be simple for you, but you get observed. Everything I do, the way I treat people, the way I handle a tough situation, way I handle pressure, the way I handle despair, way I handle joy, people observe it, and for them it matters. And if you don't walk the talk, you have to lose your credibility only once. You lose your credibility, your leadership is finished. My strength is my people, my 14,000 people whom I lead. Without them, I'm nobody.
What would be your biggest weakness?
I am very volatile. I'm extremely volatile. And sometimes, I can be rash. I can virtually wear my gloves and fight. And in a corporate world, sometimes it is not a good sign. You know, I walked away with, walked out on tough situations. I've crossed swords with tough personalities, both in the corporate and outside corporate. But I got the strength. When I do that, there are 14,000 people who will bring me home dead or alive.
Why did you choose lingerie as your line of work? Did you ever think that it will give you easy access to the fairest sex?